So, now we're going to jump into the actual rating. If you guys want to follow along, there's an Altum over there, and it's actually transmitting an RSSI of SSID. I think it's called Triangle Class. Let's see here. Yeah, Triangle Training Class. It doesn't have any internet connection. It's just to get into the devices. So if you guys want to log into it and just follow along, that's great. If not, you can just follow along looking at my screen. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to log into Radius.
What was the key? I forgot.
For the Triangle?
Yeah.
StrataLink 24, all lower caps.
You didn't say that.
This is for the album?
Yeah.
That's intuitive, isn't it? Connect to Alton with the Strata.
Isn't that an oxymoron? Lower caps?
Yeah,
Yep.
probably. But do I want to share this with my network, with my PCs and my TVs? Yeah. Strata.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect to my Altum. I'm going to show you the web interface of the Altum pretty quick. We're going to go into it, and I'm going to see who's connected there.
Is it handing out DHCP or?
Yes.
Okay.
Right, so I'm connected to Triangle Training Class.
The password? We should know the password. That's on the test.
Okay, so this is our Altum. This is our brand new product. This is the unlicensed band product. This radio has two interfaces. Has the 5 gig point-to-point backhaul, which is all the way from 5.1 AC to the 5A band as well. And you have the antennas there and 2.4 Wi-Fi, which is giving us the class Wi-Fi. Basic interface. I'm gonna just take it for a spin so you guys can see it.
Oh, we've got a different IP.
Oh, you guys are connected to it.
Come on.
StrataLink 24. So I can see you guys are here connected. You're 6. I have 6 on the class. Okay.
All right.
So now for this scenario, I have 2 links. This is one side of the link. This is the other side. This is connected to this one. This is to this one. This is the A side radio. This is the B side radio. Okay. So it goes 100. That 100, that 103, that 101, that 103. I'm going to log into them right now. So all of these guys are configured right now out-of-band management. The reason why, because I want to connect to all 4 of them without making a loop. So out-of-band management to the same physical switch, I can do all day long. If I put everything in IBM, I'm going to get into one and I'm going to lose connection to the other 3. Okay, that's a really nice deal. Okay, so let's go take a look at them.
We're not going to critique you that the modulations are different.
No, what's going to happen, because I want to show you something. See how it's,
Twisting.
in this case, right now I'm overdriving a lot of transmitters as well. If I lift one of them, it's going to go to 1024. If I put it closer, I'm overdriving everything. So that's why my attenuators, those stack of paper, work great. I don't have them with me, but we're going to see what happens. We're going to start with one radio, 100, 100. Default users. There's only 2 users for Triangle, admin and config. You cannot jump to config directly. You have to go to the admin first. Okay? Admin, Triangle. So here we go. We land on the default screen. This is locked, and this is way too hot of a link. I have -11 RSSI. Okay? This is unbelievable. Now, right now, I'm going to really concentrate about the RSSI or MSC values. I'm going to go to the features and navigate a little bit on the radio. Now, as we said before, remember, on the view node, I can go to anything, see all the parameters, I can come to the ports, but it doesn't let me change anything. Can do system status, look at firmwares, look at the uptime, look at the date.
Wow, it has a clock.
Ah, there you go. Now like the other one. Now, model information, serial numbers, everything is here accessible. Link status, my PLLs, everything I need is here. Now, system statistics. Remember, I can clear the counters. Go ahead and clear them right now. Now, what do I want to see? Which is the ones I'm really more concerned about?
Errors.
Errors, yes.
CRCs,
But
collision.
before that, import rate on GE1. See, there's two things here. Yeah. All right, so on GE1, which is my right now primary port, import rate, that's in megabits. That's what's actually hitting my port.
Right now.
Okay, right now, which is nothing, right? But import utilization, it's the percentage out of a gigabit port it's right now using. So if it's 500 megs, it's 50% utilization. Okay?
Can we push some traffic over?
It's OBM, so you have to be to G2, so you don't be able to do anything. Now, what I want you guys to know is that when you look at this in your actual network, troubleshooting purposes, you should see here 300, 100, whatever you're passing, what's coming in and what's going out of the port, right? Out port rate, in port rate. The other ones are just for multicast packets, different packet sizes, but CRC errors are down here. The most important ones to me to consider are the in-port rate and out-port rate. Now that we know that Ethernet statistics are here, how do I follow the counters? By that I mean, how much is hitting my Ethernet and how much is forwarding out the RF, okay? So I can come here, take a look at this. In-port rate, okay, I have 300 here, good. That means I'm getting traffic on my Ethernet. I go to RF stats, RF counters, in and out. So on the Ethernet, I'm going to follow first. Ethernet coming in, 300. RF coming out should be 300 or roughly an average amount. It's not going to be the same because it's, when you do the actual reading, it's an average at that time. So you already went ahead, right? So this is how you can follow the counters for what's coming in, what's coming out on the RF. Advanced settings, go here for a little bit. Thresholds, ACM. So Jeff, remember we told me the question, what is my value for the QAM 1024? So these are the thresholds right here. This is what you need for minimal and max values on each modulation. The lower modulation you go, the more forgiving it is. You can actually go lower MSC value.
And those are not, you're not in config mode.
No,
so,
man,
but those are not adjustable values. Those are.
They are.
They are. I thought
Yes.
they were. Okay.
But this is what happens. We pre-configure them for you because the threshold is the best we can actually configure based on the ODU. If you change them, let's say you're in a really rainy environment or really high temperature area, if you mess with them, worst thing is going to happen, you're going to get BERs because the ODUs are going to be able to handle the modulation rate. So that's what I recommend, just leave them alone. If you ever change them, just make sure you don't have BERs or FBRs. So that's the first
you
thing.
better have a good reason to change it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes. But in overall, the question that I get is, I cannot get a 512 or 1024 QAM. So when I look at the link status, I see the MAC values nowhere near -35. So I said, well, you gotta go back and align it. Align it and then check your IF cable, which is the most important thing for the split system. If the IF cable is nicked, bent, especially the end connector, if it's poorly terminated, MSC is gonna go down dramatically. So that has to be super clean.
So, but if you've got links, it's all outdoors.
All outdoors, you gotta check just in that case the grounding and the PoE going out, the actual cable, the Ethernet cable.
It's very unlikely that the
Yeah.
IF cable's broke.
Correct. I've seen cases that it happens, and the reason why it happens, and good thing you brought it up, because I don't think I mentioned this before. This is called a carry handle. This is not a carry handle, okay? This is actually a carry handle. And, you know, it's funny, but I've seen this cable on RMAs or something be totally bent or stripped or something because the installer, you know, on the tower decided to either grab it to move the antenna around or something. And this is actually an IF cable. This is IF frequency coming through here. So instead of that big LMR, just a short jumper, but this can easily get damaged as well if you use it, you know, for a grabbing handle. So thanks for that. I mean, you should be able to grab it by this. On the All Outdoor products, rarely this happens, but just this has to be really, really taken care of.
It can be damaged when pulling it up the tower on a cable, and it can get
nick.
banged around. It's
because this
it's something to be pretty cautious about.
This is going to be weatherproof as well.
Too, right?
Hmm?
You have to weatherproof those too.
This already comes weatherproof. This is just my demo gear.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, this comes with shrink wrap on it, so it's weatherproof, so there's no
Alright.
problem to that. Yeah. Okay, so ACM, ATPC, again, these values are from the data sheet, so all these are based on your ODU type. There's a couple different models ODUs. You can have a high power, standard power, and less standard power, basically. So that ODU is going to have different power ranges. It's going to have from 0 to 26, 21. It could be there's 3 models, HP1, HP2, and HP3s. So it all depends what's available or why you need frequencies.
Set
SNMP.
that target RSSI to whatever your PCN is.
Yes. Now, when that target RSSI, when you finish the install, an ATPC is enabled, you want to get it exactly where you finish your installation. If not, ATPC is going to say, oh, it's supposed to be negative 44. So it's actually thinking it needs to kick up the power because it wants to get to that target RSSI. But really, you got a negative 55, for example. So you have to put that to negative 55 once you finish the install.
So that target RSSI is relative to
The real target, the final alignment.
to the 1024 QAM.
No, so in general, ATPC is going to be based on that value. So if the actual value, live link, is not that, doesn't correlate, ATPC is going to start kicking in the power. You won't really notice it, but on the syslog, you're going to see ATPC power up, ATPC power up, or ATPC power down. Because it's going to be based on that target RSSI.
So put your actual RSSI in there?
Yes,
Not your
the
target.
target, yeah.
After
After you align it.
So is that on the installation checklist you gave us?
I don't think
I don't
this is
think
the
that was
target.
there.
No, not on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna put it in there. Sync key. In this case, you got synchronous packets for 3G carriers as well to sync sync towers. License keys. Now the Orion and Lynx, the difference is the Orion, it's an out of the box 761. The Lynx, it's a 400 meg radio, right?
For what?
For the Apex Lynx out of the box, what is it?
440.
440, yes, out of the box. You can add a speed license and get 700 megs. But however, this radios also have encryption. So you can buy the encryption key and just make an encryption connection. XPIC. On or off, end polarization, which is H or V. Hot standby.
Can you
Now-
go back on that XPIC? So what
Yeah.
are we really saying on that HV polarization?
What is the actual polarization of your link on each side? So if you enable XPIC, it should be on. And then horizontal or vertical, the ODU is vertical or horizontal.
Okay.
The physical actual mounting.
And so on both ends of this link, if
It
you're
should be
using XPIC,
vertical.
they should be set to be the same.
Yes.
Okay.
If not, it's gonna be backwards. XPIC is gonna hurt you basically because the binary is designed to be on the same polarity. Okay. hot standby, if you want to turn it on or off. This is for PLA as well. Now, I've been going through the web interface back and forward, but I have not seen anything I can actually edit. Right? So I go to config, and again, Triangle only has 2 users, admin and config. So config, Triangle. Now I can play with the radio. I have the frequency, I have the transfer power, transfer on or off, everything we discussed before. Now I can come in and do change around, I can turn on and off, everything I want to do. Now, VLANs, for example, I can select my port for VLANs. And this one I have already on port 3, I have 1 and 200. If it's a range, it will show 200-300, for example. So I can select which port. In this case, I want my traffic to go on 2, 3, and 4 because 1 is dedicated for management. How do we know that? Because IBM enable off. That means it's OBIA. Again, guys, this is the way it's supposed to be read. NTP is off. Advanced settings. I want to show you the passwords. So here we can set up the thresholds. Everything you want to do. Now, what happens if I change the passwords here?
Command line doesn't change.
You got it. You aced it. So, people, when they come here, like, okay, I changed the password. It doesn't change the CLI. They're totally different. So you can change it here with no problems. Just remember to do apply changes before you save. Right. System config. FTP server setup. This FTP is to export my configuration file, not for firmware upgrades, only for exporting and importing a configuration file. License keys, again, now I can edit everything. On the management, I can set my IP, my default gateway, IBM enable on or off. Can play with the ports.
You said lat long is just a label?
Yeah, it's just a string. So this is just going to the actual every interface. Now notice how when I click on every tab, I always have on the top right my RSSI status. That doesn't impact anywhere I'm on the radio. Diagnostics, you can run here the syslog. Now on the syslog, you have 6 different things to log. You can do alerts, errors, warnings, notice, or info. If you do info, it's going to start populating 3,000 lines of code. Just with the RSSI, temperature. If nothing fails, 3,000 lines, and then it's going to erase and go up again. Do it again. I personally don't do it because I use SMP, but I just rather have the alerts and the errors, basically, to troubleshoot purposes.
So you don't have to worry about the receiver being damaged at all by having that strong signal by.
No.
Okay.
Now right now, I have them too close. That chop is -5. The lowest I can do is -2.
Okay.
So status display. Can do status compare if I want to do actually status save. And if I do any changes, it's going to come back with here. I don't need to compare. So all the changes that I made from one save to the other are going to be reflected here. SIG level. All these are troubleshooting tools we're going to go into a little bit further tomorrow. System lock.
That says previous and current. What?
On
Previous what? What's that interval?
this is my previous configuration and my current configuration. So it's kind of a log of what did I change from one save and the other.
So is current
Right.
current saved or
No.
not saved?
Not save.
Okay,
so previous
basically,
is-
after you hit save, all those 2 columns are exactly the same.
No. Previous is what is before the actual save of the current. So how can I pick this?
Because it sounds like in Cisco it'd be like running and
Yeah,
the startup config
Startup
and the running
config.
config. But
correct. So the running config will be the current and the startup config will be the previous.
So the difference between status save and status. Well,
Compare, yeah, status save was the last one you actually did config save.
Okay.
Now, again, one thing I told you guys is I'm going back and forward to a lot of tabs to get information, right?
I think like command line would really speed this up.
I know, you guys are experts at that. So, how can I go into the command line? Telnet, SSH, or serial. So, just for kicks,
What? You did that in one click?
so
Don't try this at home.
So now, first thing you can notice is here, see my prompt?
Log in.
100A to 102B. Okay, so that means to me it's my 100 IP is my A side radio going to my B side radio, which is 103. That's why I decided to name it, because that's why I understand where I'm in and where I'm going to. What is my other end of it? My admin.
Did you configure that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can change it with anything I want as long as it actually references the actual site.
So it's not, is it config in Trango?
On
The command line right now?
It just declined Trango.
We're not trying to hack
No.
it, we're just trying
There
to
you
follow
go.
along.
config triangle, there you go.
Am I doing something wrong?
You probably typed it wrong.
I'm doing it too.
Oh. Access denied.
Yep, I config Trango. I'm not worthy.
On one radio are you 100?
Uh-huh.
Do you have to do admin first on this one too?
Yes.
So you have to go
Oh.
to
Admin, and then you go to
Oh, an
config.
elevator.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys can.
See? Yep. So now
Well,
that
that's
I'm
in the web interface. Remember, SSH is another kingdom.
in the actual CLI, what did I say was one of the commands going to use a lot? Link test and sysinfo, of course. We're going to do sysinfo first. There we go. So now I'm going to populate everything that I need from my radio right here. I'm going to take a look at number 1, management. Unit IDU, my IP, my serial numbers, my firmware, everything's here. Radio config. Audio power is on, yes or no. Now, is it a good idea right now to go up and unplug one of those IF connectors? Can I go unplug one of those IF connectors right now?
You should be able to because, or no, you can't because you're.
Rule of thumb, you cannot unplug the IF cable if the audio is power on. Okay? If not, what could happen? If by any mistake you unscrew the IF connector and you wiggle it a little bit and the center pin touches the conductor, it's going to blow the fuse on the end connector. And at that point, it's going to come back to me, I'll automate it, and I'll send it back to you.
It's not field changeable.
Nope.
Man, no.
So be careful with that.
Keep telling us to do that too.
Now, one way to check that is you can always grab a voltmeter and grab the tip to the actual center conductor and then to the outer conductor. It should be negative 48. But I always tell customers, be very careful, because if you just touch them together, again, you blow the fuse inside. So you got audio power on, it should give you a negative 48 when you put the center tip and the outer tip in the voltage.
But don't touch those tips.
If not, it's coming back. System configuration. HTTPD is on right now. Hot standby is active. Hot standby switches is on. PLA is off. XBIG is off. Those two things should not be enabled unless you're actually using them. They're different binaries. So if you enable PLA on one side and not on the other, the radio is not going to link. Same thing with XBIG. It has to match. This is going to now to a lower level, okay? Again, Ethernet port status configuration, port 1, 2, and 3. CL status says on. That's because I have a cable connected. The other ones are all off. I don't have anything in my ID. IBM, it's off. Now, link test. Link test 20. Let's make it 30. All right, guys, somebody go into a radio and try to do something.
Hey, man.
Yeah,
Man, it's toast.
so it hosts at this point. You have to wait until this is finished. Now, let me show you something.
It's locked up. Only I have cable. Cross it.
Don't cross this screen.
See what happened?
Point it at the wall.
1024, right?
Yeah.
Now I'm not overdriving anymore.
Man,
That's what my sheet of
I
paper.
think Ethernet was
Yes.
easier.
See, now I'm too hot. It's going back down.
That's just one sheet of paper?
2 stacks, I will recommend.
Hey,
I don't know how much is the attenuation per stack. Right now I don't have anything. I lifted it. But tomorrow I'm going to bring the actual paper so we can just do the actual test.
Alright.
Now, with that said, link test and now model. Remember? Luis, you asked me a question. How do I know which side I'm connected to? What is my ODU, right? If I don't have my PCN, I don't know which tower I'm on. If I do a model command,
Sorry, I'm late.
okay.
Just, I just want to screw you.
Alright, model. There we go. So this is my 6A radio. So that tells me this is my A side transmitter. So for spelling purposes, I know which tower side is what. Okay. Now something to note here is as well, transmit, min and max frequency. So I can only set frequencies within that range. Okay. If I try to put something outside the range, it's gonna see ODU timeout. Okay, because it's not in the range that it could be set.
So that's actually telling me what that A range is.
Yes. That is the lower bound. The B is the high side.
If I can't remember, I could power that one.
There you go. Yeah, just the model command. Oh, I told you guys that I could help you if you forget the passwords, right? If you hit the view passwords, there's a really fun command, show passwords. There you go. You can see the web interface password and the CLI password. Okay, so if for some reason you forget the actual web password, come in here, and this applies to the pluses, Apex pluses, it's still the same. Okay? Something fun for so you guys can see is, if I do question mark, I get all the list of commands I can issue. Okay, so this is kind of the little cheat sheet that we have going on. Now, the most important one for I have it, config, save. Do a change, config, save. Okay, just make a habit of that.
When in doubt, config save.
Yes, just in case. Uptime. This has been down for 38 minutes. And the load average. How hard is the radio working? That is from all the way acceptable to 1.5, 2. Depending on how much traffic is going over the link, you may see the radio working a little bit hard or not.
So what's a number to be concerned with on load?
That's like any system Linux load. Anything from 1 below, 1.5 and below, it's good. I mean, if you're running line traffic, you're running 700 megs, you know, if you see 2.2, it's still fine. I mean, just how hard is passing across, literally, the processing power. What else? Temperature. This is a really good command as well because temperature will tell you the IDU temperature and the ODU temperature. Troubleshooting purposes in this case. If you do temperature command and you know that outside it's snow and freezing and the ODU is burning up, that means there's something wrong. It should be nice and cool. Okay? Just because sometimes temperature sensors tend to go bad or really it's just messing with the IFK. Speaking of that, I'm gonna share with you guys something that happened to me here. We have in the office, and you're gonna go to more for the office visit and the factory visit. Our office is in Stowe, right? The street. We have 2 tower sites, Mount Woodson and Black Mountain. We have 2 redundant paths, one going to Wood, Black, and we test links from Stowe to Woodson. However, our main internet traffic goes from Black to Stowe, the main office. The link from Black to Woodson unlocked suddenly. I scrambled to look at my ODUs. I scrambled to look at my IDUs. I didn't see a problem. I could actually get to the ODUs, turn it back on, ODU power on, and it worked. But I didn't know what the problem was. I was kind of, well, why did it unlock on me? I started a little more troubleshooting. After a couple hours, it unlocked again. I said, okay, I know what the problem is. It's my far side transmitter. Has to be bad. The ODU has to be bad. I go up to black with another ODU, swap it out, same thing happens. Wow. So I take a look at the inside of the ODU. With my privileged user from Triangle, I can see everything is fine. Receive signal, power coming out, but it still unlocks on me. What ended up being was, on our installation, we had 2 IF cable runs. One from the ODU to the actual shelter. There's a transition point there, and then another cable goes to the actual rack. The cable going from the transition point to the ODU was the problem all the time, and I was blaming the ODU. That's when we're troubleshooting with the customers. A lot of times it's, well, my IF cable looks perfect. It may look perfect, but it has water on it. And you know, firsthand happened to me on our towers out in Black Mountain. If you look at the IF cable, it looks normal. I mean, bone dry. But if I take it out, nothing works. So I replace the cable run, I put the old ODU back on there, no problem. So just to share the story that the IF cable has a lot to do on split systems. IF cable can diminish MSC values and also make ODU transmitters act funny. So, and that to me was probably a short close somewhere related to water entry on the cable. I saw it was, to me, was bone dry. I didn't switch the cable again because I didn't want to change it, but that's something to you guys to look at. I mean, IF cables is one of the most related problems in split systems. So, just so you guys keep that in mind.
Is there anything good? I mean, should you just, how do you really test it to make sure it's good? Just have a digital voltmeter reading of what it was when you installed it?
Yeah, you
And
gotta sweep the cable and look at the frequencies come in return from the cable loss. So there's a special analyzer you put and then connect it. And if you actually frequency, there's a transfer frequency, receive frequency, and telemetry as well. So those should actually.
It's really you just need an antenna analyzer because and just treat the LMR as an antenna, and then just see how it behaves.
Yeah.
So a load on the end of it, maybe.
Now, Triangle, yeah, we also sell the prefab cable, and that's tested in factory and swept. So, I mean, if it's a 100-foot run, 200-foot run, and you can just buy it from us, I mean, you will save a lot of headaches sometimes. I mean, if it's feasible, if it's a short one. I will recommend.
The connector already
Yes.
connected, so if that's going to be a problem running it, then keep that in mind.
Well, going up the tower, we're just gonna just put it on the actual hockey pucks, right? But also, it's good to know that you can buy the cable pre-made. It just saves a lot of problems. Now, from here, we said on the web interface, there's the view and config node. On the CLI, we have another one, the debug prompt. So now I am in debug, and it's like the little Linux interface. If I do help, I can do CLI, exit, factory default, change the view password. I can ping other devices from the radio, do a route, SSH, syslog, uptime, and telnet. Now, troubleshooting purposes. If I'm going across the link and I cannot ping my far side router, from this interface, I can ping my local switch connected directly to the radio, see if I'm at least getting something. First, check the status of the port. Let's just say on or off. Is there a cable detected, physical layer? If it is, okay, try pinging it from the radio. Maybe it's something else. So you can start debugging a lot of things. I'm gonna ping my gateway, which is my ultimate in this case. It is 101. On. We can think something else. Oh. I can ping my other radios. I think my daughter's going to go. So I can ping from here other devices. If I wanted to SSH to other radio, for example, I'm going from 100 to 102, right? So from here, I can do actually SSH admin and see the prompt. Now I'm in the other radio going back to 100. So I can go IBM across, or I can jump to another switch, a MikroTik, a Cisco, Brocade. Anything can be accessed via the actual channel. I have to exit the section here. I'm going to let me go back. Well, I'm going to just keep going on this one. Remember I told you I can turn off HTTP web access? There we go. So, 102, try to log into it. Via the web, it's not going to let you.
Well,
If I, yep.
we're all command line people now.
I know, it's the easiest thing in the world. So, you can turn off a lot of things on the CLI, has more power, and now you see why I kind of lean more going to this scenario. It's not difficult, you need to get used to the commands. Any Cisco guy or just Linux will actually be familiar. And if you ever get into trouble, just do question mark and you get the cheat sheet. One thing, for example, you do a speed command, question mark, it's going to tell you what is the next thing you can issue. Channel bandwidth, 60. Question mark again, what is my max modulation rate? Let's say COM1024. Question mark again, minimum modulation, QPSK. So there we go. I think.
Is there any kind of pagination in here?
No.
So you just have to roll back and see what rolled by. Okay.
Yeah, actually, in the repeat, you can just need to hit up hub arrow. I mean, that's.
Just not a lot of scroll back buffer.
Yeah. Typically, I recommend just putty. That's a good lock.
Yeah. That's what I'm using. It works.
Any questions on this? Right now, I just wanted to show you guys the web access CLI interface. Tomorrow, we're going to go into link validation, SNMP, Visio, network monitoring. We're going to do a little more hands-on. So, by hands-on, I mean exercise, defaulting the radio, turning IBM off, IBM on, things like that. So you can leave this training, at least having hands-on experience, how to factory reset, change IP, change modulations. So when you go home, you don't have to mess with your own radios. You can just play with this ones at least. So you can have hands-on experience. Any questions?
Insert some faults in them and let us troubleshoot them.
How do you know? So yes, that is one of the exercises tomorrow.
Can we get the link configuration report for? Or
That would be too easy for you guys.
Oh.
So, any questions, guys, until today, until up now? CLI interface, web interface, management, VLANs, installation, alignment, grounding. It's a lot. So, anything you guys think from here tomorrow, please let me know.
So when you went up there, it looked like there was one that said PLA stats.
Yeah.
It must
so,
just be instantaneous, and it doesn't do. I know that we were having problems with some of our links, and we were trying to get SMP PLI stats, and we couldn't get them.
No, so what happens is, I remember with this, Brian, PLA stat is the actual status of the PLA. On your scenario, we wanted to see how much traffic is being forwarded. And thank you for bringing it up, Kevin. What happens is, in a PLA system, the only traffic being forwarded is over the master unit. So when you do stats show, you're only going to see traffic on the master radio. The slave radio doesn't show any traffic, only the master, and you should read above 800 megs, always. Yeah, this is instantaneous based on your traffic at the master radio only.
Okay.
Yeah, Ryan already forwarded that to software guys.
What are the voltage readings?
So voltage, first is the diode at 1.2 volts. The one you want to look at is the -48, because that's the one going to the IF connector, the last one. I can give you more detail on what each one means, but I need to forward that email to you. Now TFTP, it's off. The reason why, because if it's TFTP enabled, anybody can open a TFTP session and push a file to the radio, right? So it's off for security purposes. Tomorrow we're also going to cover firmware upgrades. Right, any questions? Until today? Everything good? Getting bored? Want to go have dinner? Sounds good? Okay.
Good.